Hey everybody, John here for fun Halloween stuff. Today I wanted to show you just a real simple way to set up your Halloween graveyard, because most of the stuff I'm doing is mostly gravestones, skeletons, and pumpkins. And this year I haven't been super motivated to go all out with a crazy amount of lights and sound effects and stuff. So I'll probably bring out the smoke machine this year, but we're not talking about that, the smoke machine, so much as just the basic decorations that are out here. So I wanted to show you an easy way, I think, to set up your graveyard without sitting out here for hours and hours if you have all the stuff together already. Alright, so I wanted to start with this guy is a homemade Grim Reaper, which I made based on ones I saw in the store, and he's basically just made out of foam and some PVC pipe for the arms, and the store-bought head and hands, and he's held up by just a basic I don't know if you can see that, but it's a fishing line on some hooks hung around the tree, so he's kind of floating here. See, they're floating and turning. Some of the other basic stuff I don't like to go the gory side so much, so I've got some of these fake pumpkins. And I've got a little miniature baby skeleton out here, and I put a light with a red gel on it to give him some accent as far as being able to see it at night. Because in the daytime you can see all this stuff great, but at nighttime it's pretty dark out. I also have just a broad light, like one of those I don't know what you call it. It's like those yard lights up in the tree. I don't know if you can see it with the bright sky, but there's a light in the tree, and it shines down and it covers most of the front yard as a basic lighting scheme. So at night you can see stuff basically. So I did wanted to show you, without getting into too much detail, I do have other excuse me, other tutorials on this channel if you want to look for ones where I've built the wooden gravestones, like this one and this one, and most of my gravestones are set up with just a real simple wooden spike that's bolted onto the bottom. So when I come out here, for the ease of, I just come out here and it just goes in the ground basically like that. And for the most part, unless we have a huge storm or something, they're not going anywhere. That makes it easy to move around when you're mowing and things like that. If you need to mow your lawn in Florida, at this time, we're still have to mow my lawn every week during October. So I do have the gravestones set up to where I can actually pick them up, mow around them. Sometimes I don't pick them up, so it does have a little bit of high grass around them, so it has a little bit of an old unkempt graveyard type look to it, like the high grass like here. And another touch I'm putting on is I do have a tree with a lot of moss, so I have these moss just kind of hung on the gravestones. But the one thing I do want to sort of stress a bit is that the way you set up your gravestones aesthetically, I try to set them up so they're randomly placed, essentially, not in a line. And we'll look at them from the side, and you can see they don't really line up in a line. I just made sure that there is space between them so I can mow around them. That was one of the things I take into account. I still have a few extra gravestones that I haven't put out because I did sort of a minimalist gravestone, but these are all homemade wood ones, like this cross that I cut out, and they all sort of have a little bit of a different paint job. If you look at this one, this kind of has a blackish, where these are a lighter gray. This is kind of a lighter color, so it gives you a feel of more realistic, I guess. As when you buy store-bought gravestones, for the most part, you get a basic gray. Wow, a lot of noise with the plane going overhead. To try and get away from the fake gravestone look, I try to paint mine more with a different look, and you can kind of compare this gravestone, which is a little darker gray mottled with a little lighter and then a little darker, and this one actually has the paint coming off. And I kind of like this because if you've ever watched Western movies and somebody is buried in the West, I just watched one, and it was a Clint Eastwood one, and they actually use wood gravestones in the West. I'm not sure if that's historically accurate, but I just think it's kind of a neat, to where this is actually naturally, excuse me, naturally weathered, where I painted it and the paint just fell off. So I think it kind of has a neat look, even though it looks like wood through here. And there's also, oh, I wanted to show you another one. So when I first started out, I started out with wood gravestones like these. Or, I'm sorry, I started out with foam, and this is like wall insulating foam, this foam right here. And they weren't as durable because they end up chipping up a lot. The paper that's on the outside of the foam ended up chipping. You can just kind of go back and spray paint over that part, or just take some touch-up paint. But they weren't as durable. But these wood ones, I think I've had these for 4 or 5 years. These guys, and if they chip up a little bit, you can just get a little bit of spray paint and clean those up. So I hope this isn't too random for you. Okay, so this is one of the first ones I ever made, which I took a lot of time to make this particular one. And I actually added, oh, there's a little baby lizard right there. A little tiny lizard. That little lizard wanted to be in the video, so we'll let him. This one is like 3/4 inch plywood with, I put some sides on it, which is like a 1 inch or 1.5 inch foam that I happen to have. And the reason a lot of my stuff is cheap, I guess you could say, or cheaper, is that I like to repurpose materials like plywood. So a lot of this plywood, I actually had pieces of plywood that were big enough to make these gravestones. So if I had one that was like 2 feet tall and 1 foot wide, I would make the gravestone a really tall, narrow one, and I would just like the smaller pieces of wood I'd make into small ones. So they vary in size and height and look and all that stuff. But anyway, back to this one. This is the one I did a tutorial like this one, where I actually took plywood and I put sand, what do they call it? Sand wall texture, which is the stuff they use on the inside of walls at a house, and use sand wall texture, and it's kind of aged by itself. I think this may be 5 years old. Sorry, I thought a bee might have just landed on my arm. This one is roughly, I'd say 5 or 6 years old, and you can see how it's naturally just chipped out, and it's got this crack in it, which looks really cool. And some of it's chipped off, and there's these white spots, which I think gives it a natural age to it. I didn't do any of that. I just, sometimes we'll go back and just touch up with some gray primer or some darker black, and I kind of mist it so it looks like it's got a mold on it. But this is one of my favorites because of the natural weathering look to it, which sometimes I have actually took the gravestones down after Halloween and left them like on the side of the house, so they get naturally dirty, and then they look more realistic. To me, they look more realistic. Can I say this? Realistically dirty, rather than fake Hollywood dirty. They actually look real dirty. So there's real dirt on some of these gravestones. This one is actually kind of bent too. All right, so back to the layout of your gravestones. And sorry about the random non-professional in this video, but I was just kind of in a hurry today. I just mowed the lawn and I'm kind of sweaty, so I want to get back in and take a shower. Sorry about that. I should show you the skeleton too. This is a real cheap skeleton that I got at a party store, and he has just a real basic like plastic injection skeleton type of thing. This head actually went to a different skeleton and I liked it, so I took it off, and he just kind of looks like he's coming half out of the grave. That's kind of the point of having this one. And he has some like raggedy clothes, which this was part of a costume that I had for some zombie costume. So he has that tattered clothes look instead of just being completely naked, which I don't know if I would put naked skeletons out here except for that guy. But he's still toddler. Anyway, so this is one of those little fake birds that has like these little wire feet that you can stick on. So he has a bird on his head. Sometimes I've taken and dug up a grave to make it look like he was just coming out of the grave, and I just sort of did it a little bit more. I took his legs off and did it slightly more minimalist this year. And you notice this one is kind of askew. It's not straight. I did that on purpose. Listen to that hawk. I wonder what he wants. There he is up there by the trees. Okay, now that the planes and the hawks and the motorcycles have gone by, can we resume this video? Alright, so I'm just saying, as far as laying out these tombstones, make it a random. The hawk is. That's the funny thing about shooting videos kind of in a continuous style. Things happen, and I don't know. I like to leave that stuff in there. Anyway, the bird's quiet now, so we're moving on. Randomness in the gravestones. Okay, so can you hear him? That bird. That's funny. So what I'll usually do is I'll start putting gravestones, spacing them like the back row first. A lot of times I'll put the larger gravestones in the back row. And oh, I gotta tell you just a quick story. Last time I was out shooting at a state park, there was crows out there, and every time I would shoot a video, there would be crows sitting out there, and they would be going caw, 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 like really loud. That one's not loud comparatively. There he is, right on cue. You'd almost think I had something to trigger that. Okay, back. Sorry, I'm sorry this video is running so long, but just stick with me for a few more minutes. I'll get my thoughts out, and we can sort of finish this video. Okay, usually what I want to do is start out with the taller gravestones in the background, and then the larger ones, which some of the smaller ones this year, I just kind of mix it up a little bit. Some of the smaller ones in the back, but you can still see them. There's only about 7 gravestones I heard this time, but normally I have like maybe about 12. So sometimes if you're standing way out in the road, you can't see them all because they get covered up by the larger gravestones. So I made sure that I spread them out enough that the small one in the back, which is a little lighter, stands out. You can still see it, and the tall one is where it needs to be. And now that I look at it like this, you see how this gravestone kind of covers up that skeleton a little bit. I don't know, I might think about moving that, but that's part of the process, is setting up your gravestones and then standing out where people will be driving by or walking by, and then getting a view of what it looks like, and then adjusting. Because I usually ride by in my car and I look at it and I say, how do I like this from all angles, you know? So, and I'll come out here at nighttime too and look at the way the lighting is and stuff. And so normally by the way, those pumpkins are light up too. So normally those are little light, the eyes and mouth light up in the pumpkins. And so I think that's about roughly what I wanted to communicate to you, my YouTube people, is just make sure everything. This pumpkin has been bothering me for a while. I think I'm going to try to find something to set him on because he's so far back. Even though he lights up, this guy back over here, I might want to try to get it forward. The other thing I want to mention is part of the reason why I went with a minimalist setup is because I couldn't find all my Halloween stuff. For some reason, when I went in the garage, I couldn't find. There was one box missing of some like random bones and some like a spider that I had in there and some other, I think, lights that I had. I couldn't find, so I just went with what I could find. At some point, I'll find them, maybe in the attic or something. I just want to mention this too. I had a sewage leak, and that's why this is all dug up, is because we actually had to dig a hole and I had to fix the sewage line in there. So it actually looked perfect for putting a grave in front of, because there's the bare dirt. Looks like maybe there was somebody dug up there. All right, folks, that's about it. I mentioned the lighting and everything and the pumpkins, and I would just say, you know, use your imagination as far as that kind of stuff goes. you want to shoot me any questions about how I did something, or how I made something, on this channel there are a lot of tutorials as far as how I made the gravestones. I'm trying to think of what else is on there. Like I think the one where the skeletons light up eyes are a tutorial on this channel, the Fun Halloween channel stuff channel. Can you still hear that bird? Ah, it made me laugh. That's good. So hey, I appreciate you watching this video, guys. If you want more stuff, I don't put a ton of videos on this channel. I also have some how-to videos on my other channel, which is called Mr. John Swift 200, and John is spelled Jon. There are some more tutorials on there. I think if you look on, like, go to playlist and look up what is it? How to make stuff or something like that. That's where my tutorials are there as well. There may be a few extra ones that are non-Halloween related also. So if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button. It's much appreciated. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I do also a vlog channel if you're interested in that kind of stuff, where I go out to different places, interesting places around town and out of town, where I've done vlog videos. If you like that kind of stuff and you want to check that out at John Swift Live. And my first name is Jonswift. It's John Swift Live. So I started that one this year, and it's working out pretty good. I like doing those types of videos. I wanted to go to Halloween Horror Nights. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but I would have put that on there. I do a lot of outdoorsy type of stuff. Sometimes I go to the state parks and stuff like this. I don't know. Check it out if you want to check it out. Don't check it out if you don't want to check it out. Much appreciated. I hope your Halloween is an awesome one this year. I hope you get lots of candy. I hope you... There's always a bug in my ear. Sorry. I hope you get lots of candy and scare lots of people. And shoot me a comment later and let me know how your Halloween went, if any of these tips helped you. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week, a day, and a great week. We'll see you guys.